All right, good afternoon. I think just kind of go back to last week. We had our first bye, or our bye week. Came right in the middle of the season, which is obviously a good time. Not only the guys that have missed time injury-wise, but also guys that have played that are dinged up and that needed a little bit of a break right there. So it's a good time to have that. Hopefully a lot of the guys got healed up last week. And I think obviously the main one that everybody really cares about is Cunningham, and he got healed up. He's ready to go. Practiced Sunday. Had a good practice Sunday, and then obviously we'll practice this afternoon and be ready to go this week. He's progressed well and is ready to go. Obviously, when you're dealing with those kind of injuries, obviously you rely on your medical and the trainers and all that's been good to go. Get to be at home now, finally, for a stretch. Get three home games in a row, which is going to be nice. Starting with a Pitt, who I think obviously is a really good football team. Won the ACC last year, have a lot of experience back this year. Difference is probably this team this year from Pitt from last year is obviously the quarterback, but they did get a transfer from Southern Cal as an outstanding quarterback. Really good passer, can do that. They did lose the one receiver, the best receiver, I guess, last year in football, to Southern Cal. And but they're still a really good balanced offense. They throw and run equally as well. I think the strength of their offense is up front. Probably the best offensive line that we've played this year. A lot of experience there. I think it's all 5 starters back from last year. And they play probably 7 or 8 guys up front, and they do a great job with that. We saw what the running back did when he rushed for 320 yards in the last game. With 5 or 6 touchdowns against Virginia Tech, went off, had an incredible day. He's an outstanding back, leading the ACC in rushing. He's strong, he can run, he's really fast when he breaks the line of scrimmage. I think that's the difference. You get some shifty backs, or you get just a home run guy that maybe not good in between the tackles. He's just a complete back. He's good in between the tackles, but also when he gets to the second level, he can take it to the house, and I think that's what he proved last game, which did some great things. Defensively, to me, Coach Narduzzi's team is going to have a great defense. Everywhere he's been, whether he's at Michigan State or at Pitt, they've always played great defense. The years where they're really, really good is when their offense scores a lot of points. That's why they won it last year. But this year their defense is loaded again. One of the best interior D tackles, I think, out there, number 8. He's an outstanding player, hard to block, undersized, but extremely quick, great with his hands, causes havoc, big-time player. Linebackers are aggressive. Number 7, I think, is an outstanding linebacker inside there. Can play outside, can do inside. He can do a lot. Played against us 2 years ago, which was a great player. And then I think in the secondary is where they're really, really good as well. 31's an outstanding safety. I think he's got 8 pass breakups, maybe 3 interceptions. Does a wonderful job. Can really, really run. One of the fastest safeties we've played against. And then they play man-to-man on the corners on the outside. So when they do blitz, they're a great blitzing team. They put pressure on the offense. They're not coming half-heartedly. They're full board when they're blitzing. It's very impressive to watch how they do that. They've been doing it for years. They're really good at it. They know what they're doing on that side of the ball. We have to be very good in our execution offensively. O-line has to play well in order to block those guys up front. I think is obviously a big key. And then defensively, I mean, you certainly got to load up the box to stop the run. I mean, if you don't, they'll play big ball and just run the ball down your throat. We got to do a great job of trying to slow the run game down and hopefully making them one-dimensional if we can. Special team wise, they've done a great job of blocking kicks this year. Again, aggressive with that. I think they've blocked 3 kicks and 2 punts on the season, which is outstanding. In the special team aspect. So a well-coached team, and obviously a team that's got a lot of confidence. Took Tennessee into overtime this year. We all know how good they are, and they've done a lot of great things. So looking forward to playing these guys, and after a week off, and they had a bye week as well. So we both both have 2 weeks off as we come into this game. You know, looking forward to getting these guys on the field. Questions?
Scott, you alluded to the fact that Malik will be back this week and opening up the offense. This is from Gary Graves of the AP, a question he wanted me to ask you. How much does this remind you, his absence remind you of the dimensions he brings to the offense, and how much do you appreciate it?
Yeah. Well, I think obviously Malik brings a lot to our offense. I mean, especially with his legs. I mean, he certainly can run. I think he may be number 2 in ACC in rushing right now, 91 yards a game, and I mean he's rushed for 9 touchdowns. I mean, so it's a dynamic that teams have to defend. We know that. You know, when he's in balance and has great fundamentals, then he's an outstanding passer as well. So he puts a lot of pressure on defenses, and I think you know, we certainly want to have him available to be able to come out and play. And I think, you know, I thought Brock last week, you know, minus the first quarter, because obviously the first quarter was not very good, but it played outstanding in the last 3 quarters and really ran our offense and did some great things. And, you know, it allows us to know that we've got another viable option to be able to play. I think that obviously helps your offense. You get some more experience there. But to have Malik back, he's played a ton of football for us and done a lot of great things. And I think hopefully he'll have a great week of practice and be ready to go play a great game this weekend.
Scott, you alluded to this a little bit about their running back, Abakanda. I'm sure that's not the way you pronounce it. But what makes him dangerous as a runner? You alluded to that a little bit. But how much harder is it in preparation because of his receiving skills as well?
Yeah, I mean, he's a dynamic player. You think about he's also a returner. You know, he can do everything. It does make it more difficult. You know, you certainly have to hit all your gaps in the run game. And again, it starts up front with your O-line. I mean, that's the challenge, I think, is those guys, when they lock on you, it's hard for the guys to get off those blocks. All he needs is a little crease, and then he's going to be able to take the distance. I think the ability to make cuts and have the vision that he has, but also, again, when he gets to the next level, you fit wrong, it's a touchdown. It's a huge difference when you have a back where you can get him down. Maybe it's a 15, 20-yard run, but you're getting him down, as opposed to going all the way to the end zone. That's huge. So you get them down, you got to play another set of downs. You got a chance to maybe hold them out of the end zone, I think. But if you're taking it all the way to distance, that's the difference in the game. That's what he did last week. I mean, with the 6 touchdowns, and he blew that game open. That was a tight game, basically probably toward the middle of the end of the third quarter. Really tight game. And then, you know, just in the second half, Virginia Tech just couldn't tackle him and did a great job and blew the game open.
Scott, you talked about your team healing up, but also during the bye week, you guys got out and did a lot of recruiting. Can you speak to the momentum you still have on the recruiting trail and maybe some of the stuff you guys heard last week?
Yeah, we did. We took some time. We practiced Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Guys were out Monday, Friday, Saturday of last week. You know, going out and seeing our committed guys and some others as well. But you know, still, it was great to go out and be able to see some games, see these guys, and still continue the momentum in recruiting. And hopefully maybe pick up another 1 or 2 as we head down the road here. You know, with these home games coming up, we will be hosting some really good recruits here over the next few weeks, official visits and unofficial visits. I think that'll be big for us. You know, but again, continue to dialogue with all these recruits. We're talking to them all the time, and you have to be able to do that because we know, you know, it's not completely over until signing day. You know, until you get them here. You know, a lot of schools are trying to jockey to get some of our players as you go back and look, and these guys are starting to put some great film out from their senior year, and these other schools really want to get in on those guys. And I think for us, it's all about just continue to build relationships and continue to talk, and I think that's what the bye week's about. It's about going out and, you know, going to our high schools, watching them play, getting transcripts, and really, you know, showing them that they're a huge priority for us, you know, for our program.
Alexis.
Yeah,
Alexis and Russ.
Scott, you mentioned obviously Malik and his situation, but then there were others like Tyon, Jalen, Kendrick, I think Adonis, and then Amari had tweeted out that he's going to be out for 2 games. So can you speak to those players and, you know, what their statuses are, and their injuries, or if they're injuries?
Yeah, I mean they're all a little different probably, but you know, I think all those guys are practicing. You know, they all practice on Sunday. Couple of Tyon was still a little bit limited Sunday, but everyone else practiced and was good to go. I think Mitchell, now is back fully healthy. which is good. You know, he's missed, I feel like he's missed 4 or 5 weeks, you know, and he brings a lot of experience. You're talking about a guy who started 11 games last year and a very solid back for us. So I think he'll be in the fold this week. You know, and Duncan's practiced Sunday, Tyon practiced. You know, to me, I think Tyon is probably is still the biggest question mark. I think everybody else will be available and ready to go. You know, Amari practiced. Amari be, you know, practicing all week again this week. I'm not going to speak on anything he tweeted out, that type of thing, because I don't want to speak on that. You know, I think any kind of personnel adjustments that we need to make, and we've always done this on Saturday. If we need to make an adjustment, we will. You guys will know that on Saturday. But to all the injured guys, I think we should be good to go. Tyon will know more today, tomorrow, as we head throughout these next 2 work days.
Scott, to follow up a little bit on Cunningham just real quickly, do you have any concerns about him? Is he 100%, do you think, or what?
Yeah, I think he's 100%. You know, I don't have any concerns. The doctors are not going to clear him unless he's 100%. You know, and he's got to play his game. You know, there's no, you don't go into college football, particularly at this level, and go in there halfway. I mean, you got to go in there full, all the way, and do what you do. And that's, you know, he's going to run the ball. He's going to run the offense, you know, make the plays in the passing game. So, no concerns whatsoever.
Obviously, halfway point. Your reflections on the first half, and then your thoughts on the second half, which certainly looks to be pretty challenging.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think first half, I mean, we felt like there was a couple games that got away that we felt like we had a great chance, opportunity to win. You know, and you know, they're very disappointed in those losses. You know, and I think this day and age in college football, it's hard to win. I've said that forever, and it probably is more parity now than it's ever has been. If you look across college football, it's incredible. Just, you know, sitting back and Saturday evening and watching a few games and seeing these guys play. I mean, it's incredible. You know, a team loses a guy here. You look at NC State, unfortunately lost their quarterback for the season, you know, and, you know, what an impact it could have on their football team. You know, you can lose one player like that and, you know, and things don't happen well for you. I think about, you know, Cunningham not playing for us, and, you know, we played a backup, and we go out and get a big win on the road and in conference play. That's huge. That's huge for us, because there was a lot of teams last week that played their backup quarterback that didn't win. I think the ability to go out there and get those wins is crucial when you do have guys that are in backup roles, particularly when you get to this part of the season. As we get in the second half of the season, there's going to be more of that. There's going to be more guys that are going to be out. Teams don't have their guys. You know, and next guys have to be able to go in there and play. You know, we've kind of been that way in running back. We've played a bunch of different running backs, you know, and 5 guys, really. And you just kind of rotating those guys in, and that may happen at other positions as well when you get to this part of the season. So, yeah, second half, very challenging. You know, all 6 teams have been ranked and or are ranked at some point. You know, so I think for us, you go out, you play well. If you can get some wins against these ranked teams, it's certainly going to help us. I think it's a great challenge for our guys. We know we got to go out and play great ball. You can't not be good at one phase. You have to be really good at all 3 phases. You have to take care of the ball. We have to create some turnovers. You know, all these things have to happen in order for us to get these wins. But that's the way it is for most all the college football games that we're looking at nowadays. It's extremely competitive. You know, I think all across the country. I don't care what division, you know, what league we're in.
Scott, before the Virginia game, you mentioned you were going to be more involved in defensive meetings as well as take a look at Lance's role as well. Are you carrying those over after the bye week or adjusting those at all? Well,
I mean, I think, you know, the things that we did last week that we'll continue to do is, you know, looking in on the defense to see exactly what that I can do to help them. Like I mentioned, whatever it was 2 weeks ago. If I can find something there to help, you know, I hope I can. But my role still, obviously, for offense is the same that it has been since I've been here. You know, that's why I'm sitting in the position that I am here at Louisville. Is calling plays and it's running the offense. That's what I enjoy doing. You know, I've got great confidence in Lance and our offensive staff that we've always had. They do an outstanding job. You know, but the way we collaborate and do things offensively is the way we've always done it since I've been here. We've had, you know, Dwayne Ledford was offense coordinator. We've had, you know, Lance now. We've had other guys throughout the years. You know, but the way we do it is the way we do it. You know, at the end of the day, somebody's got to call the final play. and that's been my role. I enjoy doing that. But defensively, I'll help Coach B. Brown and the rest of the guys on that. If anything I can see, which I've done all season, this last week, we're looking at Pitt's offense and seeing some things that they do and some things that I can maybe help. But so yeah, it'll be the same.
With you're coming off a win and going into a bye week, and see, like we mentioned, season halfway point. Is there any notion at all, like as far as message to the team, new start? You can't go back and start over, but it's a new start and a lot of big opportunities. Was there a kind of a theme like that from staff?
Yeah, I mean, we started, really. I mean, and we've always done, but it's a one-game season. Like everything we have is all on Pitt. Like you can't think about what you did in the past. Now we got to learn from the things we did, but we can't dwell on it, because now this team, who we've got available this week, injury, we look at the injuries, you look at all the different things that are happening, focus everything we can on Pitt, come up with a great game plan, offense, defense, kicking, go out, execute that game plan, and everything's focused on Pitt. Because we can't worry about what we got in the future, all the tough games. You can't worry about that. You can't worry about what we did in the past. Try to stay focused. I think that's one of the most difficult things, as you're thinking about, 18 to 22-year-olds is keeping them focused right now, the task at hand. There's so many distractions out there, so many things going on, and right here, right now, be where your feet are. Is the one thing we always tell our guys, and really focus on that. Today's practice, Tuesday's practice, is a big day for us, where we're putting a whole game plan in today on a Tuesday. We got to go out here and really try to execute that game plan. It's just that time of year. Again, there's a lot of things going to be happening. Man, my hamstrings hurt, my whatever hurt. Do I feel like going out today? Well, yeah, we got to go. And I do think that's a benefit of the bye. So I do think our guys did heal up last week. Feel fresh. They had Friday off. They had Saturday off. They had Monday off. So I do think today they'll be feeling the best they felt in some time.
Just to follow up that win at Virginia, and you may have a different view of it after looking at it again, but looked like maybe your cleanest win of the season in terms of operation. I don't think you had a procedure penalty. Might have been a couple of holds which happened, but from a penalty and operation standpoint, is that more like you want to see? What do you think went into that improvement?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it was our cleanest. We didn't have any lost yardage plays. I think first time 2003 that we didn't have any lost yardage plays. That's hard to do, but it kept us on the sticks. We averaged 3rd and 5 on our third down compared to early in the season. We were 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10. That was our average. So I thought that was huge. But that speaks to what you're talking about. We played a lot clean game, offensively and defensively. And that just keeps you in an opportunity to win those games. We just stayed on task, and I thought that was huge. And we continued that. Yeah, we've been trying to do that. I think we certainly have helped ourselves penalty-wise the last few weeks. I thought we've gotten a lot better in that. It still comes down to turnover margin. I think that's one of the biggest stats there is out there. And we had a couple of turnovers, but we turned them over. And I thought that part was huge as well. But certainly the goal is to play a clean game, and not have those penalties. Take care of the football. Gives you a chance to win.
Scott, obviously, when we look at your offense, Virginia's defense, Pittsburgh defense are two different things, but are there some things that you saw from that Virginia game that you would like to try to continually incorporate?
Yeah, I think each week is different. When you look at the defense we're playing this week compared to that defense, I did what I think I liked about that is what I just mentioned. We stayed on task there. We didn't have many. Like you go back to the BC game where we had some lost yardage plays that knocked us off. Now you're looking at 2nd and 14. It's a lot harder to get that going back again. I thought we did a much better job in this game of having those 2nd and 6s, 2nd and 7s. Now that's going to put us in a manageable 3rd down. If you noticed on 3rd down, there were times where we just ran the football and picked up 1st downs. It was our best 3rd down day that we had. It was because of what we did on the earlier downs. I do think that is one thing that we certainly want to be more like. Having said that, we're playing a Pitt defense that is very aggressive. And, man, I look back 2020 against Pitt. That was maybe our worst offensive performance we've had. We got sacked maybe 6 times. Just didn't do anything all day. They got after us. So we learned a lot that day as well. So whatever we did that day, don't do any of that. Let's do something else this game. I think we had one play, 75 yards. Hawkins went for a big long run. That was about all we did, really. You know, so yeah, just take that, throw that away, and start over. But yeah, I think that's the biggest thing, and it goes to, you know, it's about playing a clean game. I think that's the big thing, keeping us on task so we have those manageable situations. That day at Pitt, our best third down was 3rd and 6. Everything else was 3rd and 7 or more. I mean, it's just hard. It's hard to play winning football when you're doing that, and they had a lot to do with that. But we have to stay on task and not put ourselves in those difficult situations to try to overcome.
In talking about that, the offensive line has played well
Yeah.
the last couple of weeks, and
Yeah.
it seems like even with some injuries, Gonzalez and Luke have played. Luke Cantor
Yeah.
played a ton. Are you seeing those guys when they're in there that are really making plays?
Yeah, they're doing. And I've said this. You know, both of those guys, Cantor and Gonzalez, we treat them like starters, whether they start or not. I mean, they're like starters. So they've played a ton of football. We have got some guys dinged. You know, whether it be Renato, Boone, Trevor. I mean, all those guys have gotten dinged a little bit. You know, so we've kind of rotated. But yeah, they've been solid. I mean, last week, you know, we didn't give up any sacks, no tackles for loss. That's O-line play. That's great O-line play. And there's going to be times where the quarterback's going to get hit. I thought Brock got hit a few times, but the ball's getting released. And we're not taking those lost yardage plays, but a lot of that is the guys up front. Huge challenge this week, as I mentioned, number 8, number 2. Great interior defensive linemen. They bring these linebackers, they bring pressure. So we have to have a great plan of knowing how to pick these guys up. The other thing is, you can know where they're coming, but you got to block them too. You know, these guys are relentless, and I think that's where they separate themselves, maybe some other teams, of how relentless they are when they do bring pressures. Pretty good. All right. Thanks, guys.